Most membership gurus will tell you to keep your membership doors open all year long and feed your higher ticket programs with your membership. In this episode, I'm breaking down exactly why I think this is a massive mistake and why it's actually hurting your membership growth. Welcome back to another episode of $1 Million Memberships podcast. Today's episode is definitely going to be a hot take, but in my experience being in the membership world since 2019, being on my fourth membership right now, being heavily involved in many other membership founders' businesses, I think this is a really important topic that we need to just sit down and discuss, because this could be one of the things that is actually holding you back from growing your membership right now. There are a few problems that membership founders face pretty commonly. Three of the biggest ones being you're not able to get members signed up for your membership consistently. It feels like your membership signups are just very inconsistent and you feel sick of it. It actually kind of worries you a little bit for your membership, and you wonder if it's going to be something that can actually last you and provide for you long term if everything just feels so inconsistent. Another big one is membership churn, or some people like to call it your retention rate. Something that I find a lot of people struggle with is members leaving after the first month or two, and you just can't keep people inside of your membership. Maybe people are coming in and they're just taking what they need really quickly and then they're dipping out, or maybe you're just feeling like the people that you're attracting into your membership are really flaky and they come in, maybe use the membership for a couple weeks and then they're out. And this is a problem because this makes it so that your members aren't actually fully experiencing your membership. They're not actually getting the full-on experience. So in return, they're not getting that potential result that your membership is really built to give them. Another big problem is just simply feeling burnout from trying to promote your membership every single week. You feel like you're always promoting your membership. You're always trying to brainstorm ideas of how to get people inside of your membership. Maybe you're getting to a point where you feel like you're constantly discounting your membership, or trying to come up with bonuses, or trying to come up with something that's going to get people in the doors. And it's just this huge energy suck. You feel like you're putting so much time and energy and thought into how to get people inside. Like it's constantly racking your brain, and you just wonder, how the fuck am I supposed to keep this up for another year, 2 years, 5 years? And when you get to that point, that's when you're going to start asking yourself, is this membership thing even worth it? And let me just tell you this, most of these problems will be, I want to say at least 80%. I feel like a little bit more, but let's just undersell ourselves a little bit. Most of these problems, 80% of these problems could be solved if you just started operating on an open and close model. Let me explain why. So let's start with the first one, not being able to sign members into your membership consistently. There are two massive drivers in sales psychology. One of them is urgency, so making something feel urgent for someone to actually take action. A really good example of this is Starbucks. If anyone has the Starbucks app, the reason I'm thinking of this right now is because it just happened to me today. The Starbucks app will literally send you notifications and say, you have stars running out, use these stars because they're going to expire on August 1st. And me today, I saw that notification come up on my phone and I was like, oh my God, I don't want to lose my stars. Meanwhile, I don't even know what stars really mean. I'm like, I don't want to lose my stars. They're ending on August 1st. I better order a Starbucks on the way to Gray's soccer today. And so me, someone who actually probably wouldn't have even got a Starbucks today until I saw that, went and got a Starbucks because I wanted to use these stars that were expiring on August 1st. And you know what? It was literally like $2 off. Like this huge thing. I didn't even know about the star system, anything. And I'm just like, oh my God, there's urgency here. I have to do it before they end. Okay, so that's a weird, but that's a good example of how Starbucks uses urgency psychology in their sales and marketing. The second massive driver in sales psychology is FOMO, fear of missing out. When your doors to your membership are always open, you have to work 10 times harder, arguably more, harder to create this in your marketing. You're kind of always trying to do it, honestly. And what ends up happening is this creates more work on your end. And you know what? It's possible to do it. It's not necessarily a bad thing to keep your membership doors open all the time. But for me personally, I don't want to always have this on my mind, always be thinking of selling and getting people in and creating urgency and FOMO and all of the things with all of these different offers on top of the membership that I already have. I want to make it simple. Now, I talk to a lot of membership founders daily. It is my job. It is my world. It is what I do. And most founders who are struggling with this will usually be doing one of these things. They'll hold random discounts throughout the month. They'll discount the membership prices randomly throughout the month. They'll hold flash sales to their social media or their email list. They're constantly trying to get people in by creating these bonuses, discounts, flash sales, etc. And what this is actually doing is lowering the perceived value of your membership. That's a problem. It kind of gives your membership that energy of it's always available, and also it's always being discounted, it's always being promoted. And that energy doesn't attract someone in, it doesn't magnetize someone in as much as something that is like, oh, this thing is a little bit more special. This thing isn't open all the time. When it opens, I need to get in there. When your audience is constantly seeing you discounting and adding bonuses and like trying to get people into this thing, their drive and motivation to get inside of your membership lowers significantly. Now, when you go to the open and close model, you stop having to hard sell your membership all the time. Not only is this nice for you, but it also really helps your personal brand and your audience, because they don't feel like you're constantly trying to sell to them. You can spend those in between times really nurturing your audience and growing your audience and connecting with your audience and creating a little community who then in turn are ready to become paid members of your paid community when the doors open. You stop having to discount it all the time. You subconsciously create that higher perceived value. And when your doors actually open, people are ready and they're waiting, and you are creating urgency and FOMO so that when those doors open, they're ready to take action. Even if they weren't 100% sold yet, even if they were at the 90% mark, they know those doors are closing, so they're getting in there. Now, the next problem had to do with member churn, right? Or retention rate. So let's talk a little bit about what happens with your retention rate when you move to the open and close model. Now, before you shut this off, because what I'm about to say is going to sound a little bit funny, and I'm fully aware of that. I'm gonna sound a little bit trappy, but I swear it's really not. So I need you to really listen to what I'm going to say next, but then also listen to what I'm going to say on this whole point. When you move to an open and close model, your churn will decrease because your members know they can't just get back in. They can't just leave the membership. Now, I know that sounds trappy. I know that sounds weird, but hear me out. This does not trap your members into your membership. They can obviously leave anytime they want, unless obviously you have a commitment period due to a certain amount of content that you put out when people first join the membership. That's a different story. Content release schedules, all the thing. But outside of any commitment periods that you might have, you're not trapping your members into your membership by doing this. What this actually does is it just gets people to think for a second. It gets people to actually pause and make a more clear decision on if they want to cancel their membership. So what ends up happening when you have a evergreen membership and people can come in anytime, that's when you're going to get people who are a little bit more in and out, a little bit more flaky. Let's just say, for example, someone comes into your membership, they join your membership, they get the call that they wanted, right? Maybe you have a call coming up. So they join the membership right before that call happens. Then they cancel their membership so they don't get another payment come out. Then maybe in another 2 months, they're feeling like they need some support again. So they join again, they get the call, then they come back out. You're going to get people like that when you have an evergreen model. It's just going to happen. Rather than people doing that, you actually ask people to stop and think, yeah, you can cancel for sure. But also just know that if you do cancel, you would have to wait until our next open to get back in. This is going to get people to stop and think and not just cancel because they wanted to get a Crave subscription that month and they decided to cut their costs a little bit. The other thing I want you to really think of here is when you have an evergreen model and people are coming in and out and in and out, Not only is this fucking up your churn and your retention, but it's actually messing up their results as well. Because what happens when people come into a community and they actually commit to themselves? They're more likely to get the results. People who stay in a community for a consecutive 5 months are more likely to get results than someone who comes into a community, leaves, comes back into the community, leaves. When you have an open and close, you are asking people to commit to their results. And I don't think that's a bad thing. And if they don't want to commit to their results, cool, they're able to go. They just gotta wait to come back in if they change their mind. Open and close memberships not only will improve your churn retention rates, but it will also help your members really see their commitments through and get the result that they're wanting. All right, if you are loving this episode, I have a feeling you are going to love this too. So if you are someone who is posting, you're emailing, you're showing up everywhere, you're doing everything for your membership growth and new members are still just trickling in one at a time, it feels impossible to get a wave of new members at once. Meanwhile, you're watching other memberships blow up and you genuinely cannot figure out what they're doing that you're not. So here's the thing that nobody tells you. It's not that you're not working hard enough. I see you. You are working on overdrive. You're working hard on the wrong thing because you don't actually know where your membership is leaking. So you keep guessing, you add more content, maybe you make a new freebie, maybe you even do a rebrand. We've all been there. But nothing is moving. You still feel like it is so hard to fill your membership. This is the exact reason I decided to run this challenge coming up July 14th to 16th. It's called the Get Your Next 100 Members Challenge, and it is exactly what it sounds like. Over the 3 days, we are finding the real reason that your membership is not growing. Day 2 is we're building your actual growth plan for your membership, the exact behind the scenes strategy that I personally use, that my clients use. I just had a client use it and sign over 100 new members in under 2 hours into her membership. She added over $20,000 to her monthly recurring revenue. That's insane, but it also shows it is so possible for you too. On day 3, we are putting everything into your calendar, real dates, real revenue target, going over your plan and making sure that you are leaving with a plan that you can use anytime throughout the year until you get to your next 100 members. Hitting 100 members is not a luck thing, it's strategy. I do not want you to just be sitting there trying to guess what is going to be the thing that grows your membership. I want to give you this strategy because I know this is something that if you come to these trainings, you implement it, you show up for these 3 days, this is something that could truly change the trajectory of your life because it will finally give you a predictable way to get new members. And by the way, there's also a chance to walk away from the challenge with cash. 50% of every ticket sold is going straight back into the jackpot, and one of you is going to be walking away with the entire thing at the end of this. So pause this right now, go grab your spot. I do not know when I'm going to run another one like this. I don't even know if I'm going to run another one like this. So definitely, if this sounds like something that you need, pause this, grab your spot, come join us inside. It is going to be such a freaking vibe. I cannot wait to see you there. Okay, let's get back into the episode. Flash sale to get people into your membership. What I really love about the open and close model is you have focused sales periods instead of always feeling like you're trying to get people in. When you're open, you're going hard. That is when you are in launch mode, sales mode. Everything is really launch and sales focused. So yeah, it's a lot during that time because you're in that mode. But then when that's done, you're kind of just focusing on nurturing your audience, nurturing your members inside. You're not worrying about trying to fill your membership anymore. A really, really good example of this, I know you're going to know who I'm talking about because she is all over the internet right now. She just had a famous, oh my God, what was it? Like $6 million launch? I don't know. I need to pull this up right now. I think it was like a $1.2 million launch she had in just a few days, and then she repeated it and did what, like 5 million, 6 million? I don't know. Someone send me a DM on Instagram at the Membership Muse and let me know what this number is because it was absolutely insane. But this is such a good example. Again, her name is Jessie Jean. I think it's at Jessie Jean Home. This is a perfect example. She built a lot of credibility. She built a lot of buzz around what she was doing. She had a wait list going for this challenge, this Yap challenge that she was going to be hosting. She had never hosted it before, so this was her first challenge. She just built so much hype, so much awareness, so much interest in it. And then she opened the doors, and the doors were only open for a certain amount of time, and then they closed. What ended up happening was people who saw what was going on here, people who were interested in what she was doing, they locked in their spot because they knew if they didn't, they wouldn't be able to get into this thing, even though it was the first round, right? So people couldn't necessarily go, she's opening, but I'll see how it goes for a couple weeks, see what other people's results are. Like, no, there was no option to do that. It's either you come in or you don't, right? Then what ends up happening when she was actually doing the first challenge, she was sharing results. She was creating FOMO around it. She was creating awareness around it. Then she opens the doors again, and this time she doubled, tripled this launch. Again, I don't know the actual number for her second one, but it was insane. She blew past the numbers because she created so much urgency and awareness and FOMO around the first one that people who were seeing this happening but couldn't get in were not about to miss their chance to get into the second one. So that's a really good example of the sales psychology that an open and close model will do for you. In my opinion, this model is so much easier. You don't have to think of all these discounts and bonuses and things to add to your offer because literally the doors closing is the urgency. And then if you do end up adding bonuses or little things inside for people who come in, you are just over delivering and you're building a really credible, trustworthy brand. It's literally a win-win. And in my opinion, again, it's the easiest.
The one thing I will say about this, and if you cannot see this on video, you probably don't even notice a difference, but if you're watching this on video, you'll see the video is blank because I wanted to make sure that I didn't leave this out. I actually had this in my notes and then missed putting it in the episode, and I really want to make sure that it's in the episode for anybody who has a membership like this. It's really important to also know that not every single membership can be an open close model. For example, memberships where the member actually cannot wait for the doors to reopen. Your membership is a little bit more urgent. So an example of this could be a medical membership, something like brain injury or some sort of injury, right? People can't necessarily predict when they're going to get injured and they kind of need the membership now. Or another really good example of this is a pregnancy membership, right? Someone can't necessarily wait for your membership doors to open. So just so you know, if you have a membership that your members actually cannot wait to get in, then you actually don't want to do an open and close model. But the good news is that when someone needs your membership, they need your membership. So this isn't going to necessarily apply to you as much, and you would actually be better suited creating urgency and awareness and FOMO around your membership throughout the year. Okay, I'm just laying in bed editing this, and I really wanted to make sure I put that in there so that if you do happen to have a membership that people actually cannot wait to get in the doors, that you don't take my advice on here and close your doors. Okay, let's get back into the regular episode.
Now, I know what you're probably thinking. If you don't have an open and close, if you have your membership open all of the time, you're probably thinking, okay, this sounds like it could work, but what happens in between? I don't want to lose out on sales in between. What do I do in between? That seems scary to close the doors on something that I depend on to fund my life, to pay for my family's life, to put food on our table. I get it. Come back next week because I'm going to break all of that down. That common fear around what happens if you do the open and close, how to actually make money in those in-between months. Do you make money in those in-between months? How to make sure you have a really good launch so that you don't have to worry about those in-between months. I'm just covering all of it. So make sure that you subscribed to this channel if you are not. Make sure you are following the podcast if you are not. And I'll be back next week with that episode. Bye.